It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Hello, good evening everybody. How is everybody? It's been a little while since we did some hobby, so maybe we was doing like jump intercessors like a week ago or something like that. Good evening, good evening. Hope everyone's well. You watched last night's match, thank you so much. It was a fun one, right? I've got a new Blood Angels video coming out tomorrow, as normal. And it's a good one. It's a banger tomorrow. I need to put a little bit of paint on the heavy intercessors. I'm glad that I'm streaming, because I need to ask you guys... It's been a long time since I did units with blue helmets. But I'm pretty sure heavy intercessors should have blue helmets, right? I'm going to try and paint their guns black. And my only other goal for tonight is to give them blue helmets. Of course, as I sit down here, I realise that... I mean, it's like Macragge blue I normally paint their helmets, I believe. I don't have Macragge blue on the tabletop, because I never paint bloody Macragge blue, right? Surprisingly, I do have Gilliman's glaze on the tabletop. I don't have Macragge blue. It's behind my damn green screen. So give me 1 second to get a paint. I'm trying to think where the Macragge blue would be. I think it will be in this one. It's where I usually keep all the old paints. That's the Macragge blue. Is that open? Yeah, I think that's open. Alright, I think I need Macragge blue. Yeah, I guess this box actually isn't going long. Super. Ugh. I need more space. I get too many games. First world problems, huh? Good evening, Jim. Left-handed Texan, good evening. Hey, fuck, good evening. Lam said he really enjoyed the game last night. Dude, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I use blue helmets for fire support. Yes, so do I. Not that often do I do fire support units, I guess, but I think heavy intercessors should have blue helmets, right? Anyone disagree? Unfortunately, I already painted their eyes green, so maybe that was a mistake, because normally I would just wash right over the whole helmet with blue, but... I think they'll look better with blue. I think. Maybe I'll do some purity seals while I'm at it tonight, because these guys all have purity seals on them as well. I'll use your Shati Bone for that, and maybe where else are where are we with these heavy intercessors? I was going to say, I suppose I could start doing all the leg joints and the arm joints as well. That would be important to do, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe blue helmets and some purity seals. I mean, technically these guys are battle ready. They get 3 colors on them, but Jim says, I believe they'd be red, but do what you like. Why would they be red? Because they're battle line units, technically? I've been kind of thinking about this all day, because I kind of thought to myself, like, obviously I played using the Heavy Intercessors last night, and I actually really like Heavy Intercessors. And like turn 4 last night, I was like 25 points ahead of the Votan or something. But what was funny was I said to Andrew, I was like, you realise I have like 6 Gravis Marines on all the No Man's Land objectives. So it was like, for a while there, I just hated Gravis, I guess. I was like, what's the point in Gravis? Why do Gravis even exist? I don't want to have any Gravis in my army, and now it's like my whole army is bloody Gravis. It was like 5 Heavy Intercessors, like 6 Aggressors, 3 Inceptors, 6 Eradicators. It's just Gravis, Gravis, Gravis. I mean, I guess there's something to be said about, like, heavy bolters will wound. Let me turn my phone on silent, that'll be my wife texting me. You know, heavy bolters will wound regular Marines on 3s, while they'll wound Gravis on 5s. So I guess if you're willing to take the 1-inch movement penalty, then I guess Gravis can be pretty good. I mean, I guess the Gravis also just work really well with the Gladius detachment, because you get all the fallback and shoot, advance and charge, advance and shoot, etc, etc, etc. One has 3 different coloured helmets in his army, red, black or gold. I have all my close support units done with yellow helmets, so I just actually painted the jump intercessors with yellow helmets. All my assault intercessors are yellow helmets. All my incursors are yellow helmets. I actually did my infiltrators with black helmets, just because I'd seen someone else do black helmets on infiltrators, and I know it's not like canon, but I thought it just looked really cool. So there is something to be said about, it's your army, do what you think is cool. So I may just put blue helmets on these guys. I may keep them with red, I haven't decided. I probably feel like they just need blue helmets because they don't have enough other colours on them yet. But if I get more colours on them tonight, then maybe they'll feel like they don't need the blue helmets. I'd be surprised. I thought someone was going to come in here and be like, yeah, they need to be blue helmets. Toughness 6 is pretty awesome. Yeah, Toughness 6 is I guess it must be a reasonable breakpoint. Toughness 6 didn't actually help all that much against the Votan, because all their guns have like additional strength, and then they have the judgment tokens giving like +1 to wound. So Gravis weren't that survivable against Votan, but I guess in general I think they are quite survivable. Quite a bit more survivable than regular Marines, right? And I think I prefer Gravis to Terminators, honestly. Black helmets look really cool. Yeah, I mean, black helmets obviously work with the Death Company, but they can work on regular Marines. Regular red Marines with black helmets can look pretty dope. It's a little bit sad I don't play any of my infiltrators at the moment. I played them a lot last edition, don't really play them this edition, but yeah, I think infiltrators with black helmets look really cool. I mean, they're kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like Special Forces or something like that. Miguel did his infiltrators in full gold. I mean, I did my Blade Guard veterans in full gold, right? I also did my Vanguard veterans in full gold. The reason I did the Blade Guard and the Van Vets in gold was because I figured that like they're only one step away from the Sanguinary Guard, and I think I just actually painted like tons and tons of red armor. Sometimes when you've painted a ton of one color, you need a break. So when I came to I was going to paint 20 Van Vets, and I was like, man, I must have just painted like 30 or something regular Intercessors in red. I was like, I'm not painting them in red. Same reason that I painted one of my Redemptor Dreadnoughts in Death Company colours, even though Redemptor Dreadnoughts cannot be in Death Company. It was like I just painted 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts in red. I didn't want to paint a third one in red, so I was like, I'm just going to paint my Redemptor Dreadnought Death Company. And honestly, I think the one that I painted Death Company is the coolest of the 3. I'm really happy with the one that got painted Death Company. He took the longest to paint, but I think he looks the coolest. So anyone else working on hobby tonight? Anyone got big hobby projects on the go? Everybody getting prepared for Christmas. It's only like something like 47 days till Christmas or something. I saw a sign in the store at the weekend, 52 days to Christmas. I was like, Jesus, okay. Christmas music's playing in all the shops here in UK already. So if you wanted to avoid Christmas, then tough shit, you can't. It's everywhere. It's getting a bit ridiculous that the Christmas menus and Christmas music is now from the 1st of November. Like, I guess that's what we live, the time we live in. One is a Death Company Dreadnought, Leviathan actually, Redemptor Anablist is cool. Good evening, End. How are you? Evening, Eternal Crusader. Evening, Rosario. How are you guys? Aradine just finished Return to Moria. Was that good? Was it good? I didn't realize it was a game you could finish. I was thinking it was more like a Minecraft type game where you just played it forever. I don't know if I would get time to play a game like that at the moment, but I did see the trailer and thought it looked pretty cool. I was going to say, I only play PC games for a few hours every week, and I very rarely make very much progress. I was actually looking Chaos Gate because it was on my Steam library that said, like, I haven't played since the Christmas holidays last year. I was like, oh, that's bad. So I'm going to take a break from making tactics videos this Christmas holidays again, and I'll play some the 40k games that I'm miles behind on. But because I actually genuinely really like the Chaos Gate game. Like, I think it's probably the best 40k game in my opinion. It's probably but maybe it's just because it's like it's an XCOM style game and I just love XCOM. But yeah, I really, really, really like that new Chaos Gate game. It's probably my favourite 40k game. I like the Bolt Gun game as well because I bought Bolt Gun and played that a bit on stream. I think I actually only played it once. So I've got Bolt Gun to play, I've got Chaos Gate to play. I probably like to get a bit deeper into Chaos Gate because that is a very challenging. Chaos Gate feels like a very challenging game, but it also feels quite rewarding, I guess. So no one here wants me to paint. No one here thinks heavy intercessors need painted with blue helmets. Left-handed Texan says yellow for assault, blue for fire support, red for battle line. I mean, that's the problem. Heavy intercessors are fire support, but they are battle line, right? You could argue they're both. I kind of feel like they're a bit of both, whereas like, I mean, technically I painted my aggressors with red helmets, but I kind of feel like when I painted my aggressors with red helmets, I maybe wasn't as clued up on the helmet colors of Blood Angels, or I wasn't, yeah, maybe, I don't know why I painted the aggressors with red helmets. I feel like I just painted them with red helmets because they were Gravis and they were new and I didn't really know where they would go. Would that be, I think that's an acceptable solution. Torzan has been a member for 30 months. Torzan, thank you so much. I mean, thank you to everybody who is a member. But, dude, 30 months, that's legendary, man. You guys have supported me, like, for almost 3 years at this point. I can't thank you guys enough, honestly. Being able to, like, work... Because, like, in a way, the Blood Angels Commander channel for me is, like, work, right? Like, it's... The tactics videos and stuff, it's fun to make them, but it's kind of like a job, I guess. So being able to work on something that I love so much is super appreciated, and like, you guys are essentially my stakeholders. You know, like, I was thinking about this the other day, it's like, I don't answer to anyone on the channel, but I guess in a way I answer to you guys that are members. The members tell me what I want, and I try my best to do it for you guys, so yeah, I do really appreciate it, honestly. I throw my hands up and say thank you. So 30 months of membership. But I am painting all my helmets gold. I'm not doing it. But I mean, I guess you've got a very first company style force. Everybody's got a golden helmet, everybody's a veteran. Hey, it's your army, do what you want. Stark says he doesn't care, he just joined Blood Angels to paint red. I mean, I have a lot of red models, Stark. Like an awful lot of red models, so I quite like occasionally changing up the helmet colour. And I quite like occasionally doing a unit that doesn't fit in the Death Company colours, or occasionally doing a unit that doesn't fit in the Sangre Guard colours. Like I've never done a Golden Dreadnought. I feel like if I was going to do a Golden Dreadnought, it would need to be a melee Dreadnought. So like if we get our new codex like next year or something, and we get like a new melee Dreadnought, like a Blood Angel specific one, or we get like a Primaris Librarian Dreadnought, maybe that could be the candidate for my first ever gold Dreadnought. It would look quite Custodes, right? But it could be quite cool. Hey, good evening, Marius. How are you? Best Blood Angels content on YouTube. Thanks, man. I know that I haven't been playing too much Sons of Sanguinius Detachment this edition, but I'm really hoping that they do something for melee armies in general. Like I don't think Warhammer 40,000 in 10th edition is a very good rule set for melee. There's too many restrictions on melee that just make it like kind of obnoxious to play melee. Like a full melee list, I think. Unless your army's got like a super strong detachment rule for melee, but I kind of feel like the Blood Angels army right now does not have a super strong. But I mean, I'll get back to it. All my Sangre Guard, all 30 of them, are sitting in the shelf, desperate to come out and play. They're ready to go as soon as we get some good rules for them. A Sangre Guard or Sangre Dreadnought would be cool, yeah. I mean, I guess it would indeed be cool. Right now, though, the Librarian Dreadnought is an amazing unit. I think he's one of my favourites. I think he could be the best unit that we have, actually, Librarian Dreadnought. I'm going to a tournament, let me think, next weekend. Not this weekend coming, but next. And I'm kind of hoping that the Librarian Dreadnought will do some serious teleporting shenanigan. I was going to say the lore in 40k is pretty fluid. It changes from author to author. I feel like I don't think you could ever really get in too much trouble by painting helmets in a different colour. I really thought someone would think that these helmets are supposed to be blue, though. Because I was convinced myself before I came on stream. I was like, someone's going to tell me that I'm an idiot on stream, and of course they're going to be blue. I really thought that was going to happen. Didn't World Eaters almost win with an all-melee list? Yeah, I think World Eaters and Demons are possibly sort of the two exceptions. Their detachment rules are really strong, their units are really strong. Lord Avocado is still kind of amazing in that he can give like 2 units save 8 bound, like a 9-inch scout move, right? So I think World Eaters have some really... I think World Eaters are definitely a viable melee force. But I feel like there is... I think Blood Angels melee it's the lowest win rate in 40k at the moment, right? So I think you can play Blood Angels melee, you just need to either be absolutely shit hot or get a bit of luck, maybe? I don't know, I'm enjoying Gladius. I'll get back to Blood Angels attachment, but I guess for now for me it's all Gladius. I'm feeling fairly confident though taking this Gladius list to tournament, because Rezio was asking me last night, he was like, are you definitely set on taking this list? And I was like, well, I played 12 games with it, Rez, and I won 11 of them, and the game that I didn't win was by 2 points. And there was some like rule shenanigans going on. So I was like, really? I feel like if you've won 11 out of 12 games, your list... And it's not all been exactly the same list, it's like a variant of the list. But yeah, no, I think I'm pretty set on taking Gladius to this event. And I'm hoping that I'll do okay. I'm really hoping I'll do okay. For me, the biggest problem with Sons of Sanguinius is they're no help at all with their charges. Yeah, 9-inch charges are absolutely brutal from Deep Strike. It's almost like the last 3 9-inch charges I've done, I've had a reroll in all of them and haven't made a single one. So, like, any sort of, like, Deep Strike play, I feel like has to be done with Rapid Ingress. If you can't do it with Rapid Ingress, you can't make the play. And Blood Angels, I think, I don't want to say we relied solely on Deep Strike charges, but they were something that was quite handy to have in our arsenal, and they were reasonably reliable. So we've just completely lost that. And because there were certain units last edition, like Death Company, that were so cheap, or Assault Intercessors, you could just throw them into reserve and be like, right, I'm just going to reserve a squad of Assault Intercessors, and I'm going to try and make that charge. And you would make it reasonably often enough where you could just have it. You could just rely on it. But now in 10th edition, I feel like Deep Strike charges are just not a thing that you can rely on, like, ever. Tarzan his theme is all veterans. That's kind of a cool theme. What made you think about just doing the whole army as veterans? I've never seen someone do all vets. Remember when we could 3d6 charge from Deep Strike? I remember when we could 3d6 charge from Deep Strike and be unable to be overwatched against, and we could lift up a unit and put it back down in the same turn. So for like 3 CP, you could lift up a captain or a captain who could not be overwatched against, could make a 3d6 charge anywhere on the board. Obviously, you could reroll that charge as well, but I mean, like, you very, very, very rarely failed it. And then you could also fight twice. And he was like 100 and some points. Yeah, it was a fun. I was gonna say, I don't even know what you call it. It was a fun broken edition. Maybe that was like 8th edition, right? Doesn't seem as... Seems longer ago than it probably was. It was probably like... Realistically, like just 4 or 5 years, but it feels longer for me anyway. Real Evo Genius. It feels like the units Blood Angels want to feel don't hit hard enough in melee once they get there. Vanguard Vet, Sanguinary Guard. The only OK unit is Death Company and Jump Packs. Yeah, I think people have agreed that Death Company and Jump Packs are the best melee unit. Like, that's a pretty safe assumption based on the points costs and stuff. I think Vanguard Vets possibly can be okay. Like, if you attach a captain to give them the extra strength and the free Rites of War stratagem, and then you attach the priest to give them a 5-up feel no pain. But I think at that point they become like a 400 point unit, and like a 400 point unit has to do a lot of work, and also has to be very, very, you know, like, you have to get that unit. You can't just lose that unit. If you just if the enemy managed to pick it off or something, then it's so much to lose. So I believe the Vanguard Veterans could be okay. I don't think the Sanguinary Guard can be okay. I think it's really silly the Sanguinary Priest cannot attach to the Sanguinary Guard. But I think the Vanguard Veterans could be okay, but it feels to me like it's too many points, it's too big a risk. So I guess personally I'm not doing it. Gladius is better melees for Sons of Sanguinius. I don't know if it's got better melee, but I think I would say, Daniel, it's got comparable melee, and I guess because it's comparable and it's got some more trickery up its sleeve, then it kind of means Sons of Sanguinius is a really tough place, I guess. I like the Sanguinar. He's good as a melee unit. Yeah, I think the Sanguinar is a good melee unit, actually. I've only run him once in 10th. I'll run him more after I get done with this GT, probably. I'm definitely doing Gladius for this GT. I've got to submit my list on Monday, I think. Mayu says he's trying Eradicators again. I'm taking Eradicators in my tournament list next week. It's a little bit sad that the Vanguard veterans don't get better weapons. Clint says, all the videos helped me beat the World Eaters. I'm glad to hear it, Clint. Congratulations. Was it a tough game? Because I've had some tough games against World Eaters this last while. I actually ran into them at a tournament, and the only reason I beat them at the tournament is because I played Brett on stream like a week before the tournament, so I kind of knew what they did. But like, even Berserkers, man, hit so friggin' hard. That's the one thing that I found out. I was like, Blood Angels do not melee well with Berserkers and World Eaters. Like, that's a matchup I don't think we can win. Not in sheer melee. Like, if you come up against World Eaters and it's melee on melee, you'll lose. You need to have some shooting in your army to like soften them out before they overrun you in melee. At least that's my opinion. And Angron can be a real problem, especially if he respawns. Because if you put a lot of firepower or I guess units into Angron for him to just respawn on you, that can be yeah, it can be tough to deal with, that's for sure. I think Brett respawned Angron twice against me in one game. It was ridiculous. It's been a while. How are you? So yeah, I wasn't sure, I guess, until my game last night, but I think my tournament list for this GT in like 10 days, 9 days, because I think it's the 17th and the 18th. My tournament list for this GT is going to be 22 Gravis Marines, which to me feels like it was something I would have never said when 10th edition was announced, but I guess that's the reality of I'm going to be fielding 22 Gravis Marines as Blood Angels. I guess I'm going to be yeeting them around the board with Librarian Dreadnought, and that's half the battle plan, I guess. Teleporting Gravis Marines with durability. I'll put them on objectives, I'll put them in your face, I'll make some charges if I can. How did the game go last night? The Votan, yeah, I beat him pretty convincingly, but I think I do think Andrew made a couple of big mistakes. Like, he exposed his characters in turn 1 way too heavily. Like, the mission was all about... It was a mission I've never played before. I think it was called Sites of Power. So it was basically 3 VP for primaries, but if your character is on the victory point... Or, sorry, if your character's on the objective and you control it, you got an extra 3 points. Well, Andrew put all his characters really aggressive turn 1, and I killed all of them. So that basically meant, like, by losing his characters turn 1, or I think it was turn 2 I killed them all, but he put them really far forward turn 1, and then I went first. So I guess he only got to move his characters out of his deployment zone for them to be killed. So that instantly stopped him from getting like 30 victory points, because he wasn't able to score the primary properly because I'd killed all his characters in turn 1. So that kind of skewed the game a bit, in that, like, if it hadn't been that Sites of Power mission, he would have got more victory points. But in the final turn, I had the opportunity to score some guaranteed points or go for like a Hail Mary, and I just went for the Hail Mary. I tried to do an 8-inch charge, or 9-inch charge for 8 victory points. So if I got my final turn charge, it would have won by like 28 points. So I guess... Yeah, there's some small mistakes from the Votan, but overall I feel like I just keep winning games with that Gladius list, and I know that Gladius list gets, like, a lot of people say that they don't think it's a very good list, and literally every week Reziel tells me that I shouldn't have a Repulsor in the list and I should have a Land Raider, but like, it's won 11 games out of 12. So I don't know. I'm gonna take that Gladius list to GT. I hope I'm gonna do okay. And then after that, maybe we'll start looking at other detachments, or maybe we'll start looking at... Yeah, I think after that I'll start looking at other detachments. At least get some armies going with other Space Marine detachments. I think the Vanguard detachment is possibly one of the most interesting. I don't think it's a very killy detachment, but I think it's got like a pretty high skill cap in that there's like lots and lots of shenanigans you can do with that Vanguard detachment with the right list. I think someone said in Discord today they were playing the Vanguard detachment tonight as well, so I guess a few people have sort of picked out that, or have seen that there's like a lot of strength in the Vanguard detachment, I guess, or are trying to figure out what the strength in it. Clint used a Repulsor Executioner last night. It was really good. I used I used to be a big charge player, no more. Yeah, I mean, I was a big charge player, no more, but I always did bring some sort of fire support, I feel like. Because I think I was running Gladiator Reapers when like no other Blood Angels player was running Gladiator Reapers like last edition, and I came up against World Eaters at a GT and I would have lost the game if I hadn't had a Gladiator Reaper. The Gladiator Reaper into the World Eaters was just huge. Like, they just didn't have anything that they could really shoot back effectively against the Reaper. So the Reaper was able to just get... The Reaper got a lot more shots last edition than it does this edition, because of the nature of Twin Linked, I guess. But the Reaper that I had last edition won me a game sort of single-handedly against World Eaters. Good evening, Fox. How are you? Rezi, what's up? I've just been speaking about you. How are you? What was it like playing against the two land fortresses? Do you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a real tough time cracking them, but one of them pretty much died to my standard double Vindicator Oath of Moment strat, because I kind of use that quite often as just Oath of Moment something and then have both Vindicators open up on it with and shoot the Hunter Killer missiles as well. That usually does a lot of damage. I think I rolled 5 and 1 for the number of shots, so pretty much average number of shots, about 6 shots from each Vindicator. And that pretty much, I think it left the Hecatonk on like 4 wounds or something, and then I just cleaned it up with the Ballista Shred. I think I had another unit in there that could have shot it as well if I'd needed to. But the one land fortress died pretty quickly. The Eradicators did 11 wounds in one turn to the other land fortress. And I was thinking about that after the game. If they'd been within Melta range, that would have killed it, right? Because Melta range would have given +2. Killer458 says, "The almighty shoebox, honoured transport of the Angels of Wrath." I guess you were transporting your army in a shoebox? Why not? You can transport your army any way you like. You don't have to have an expensive case. If you want to put it in a shoebox, go for it. Did I say something nice about you? Probably, Reziel. I mean, I only say nice things, right? I feel like I'm a nice person. I say nice things. I actually bought Miles a tank this week. So, I mean, in a roundabout way, Miles needs to thank some of my members, because Miles has been on the channel, like, how many times this year? I have no idea. So I just said to Miles, like, hey, Miles, what unit are you going to buy next? He was like, oh, I'm going to get another Lehman Russ. And I was like, right, I've ordered you one. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm a nice person. There you go, there's a Lehman Russ. Thank you for coming on the channel. Because if I don't have an opponent, I don't really have an army, I don't really have a battle report on Wednesday nights, right? So, yeah, no, I bought Miles a Lehman Russ this week to say thank you. Because otherwise I've got no show. Benter says, good evening. Off-topic question. How do you transport your minis? Right now, I'm looking at different ways to do it. Oh, right, that's why you said the mighty shoebox. I mean, a shoebox would work full of bubble wrap. I use a website called KR Cases, or KR Multicase. That's like K for Kronos, R for Rage. If you search KR space Multicase, that's a UK site that does pretty nice cases. I believe in America, if you're in America, there's a place called Battle Box, or Battle Foam, maybe that's the one, Battle Foam. I think the Battle Foam might actually have nicer cases than KNR, but the import tax to get one in the UK would just be insanity, so Yeah, you like import, like, do any of you guys watch that YouTube channel called First We Feast? It's a channel where they line up 10 hot sauces, and each chicken wing gets hotter, and they get celebrities in, and they interview them while eating the hot chicken wings, right? I think it's a cool channel. I watched tons of videos off First We Feast. But every season then on First We Feast, they have like their array of hot sauces, right? So you can buy like the 10 hot sauces that they have for that season. But like the hot sauces cost 120, so that's like $12 per hot sauce. Then if you want to import it to the UK, you have to pay $50 delivery. So now you're up to like 17 per hot sauce. And then when it gets to the UK government will slap 20 or 25% tax on it when it reaches the UK, because anything you buy from America, they put import tax on for whatever reason, I guess because they can tax things. So then you'd be another 20-30%. So suddenly every bottle's gone from about $12 a bottle to about $25 a bottle. As much as I want to try those hot sauces, I don't know if I want to spend $25 on a bottle of hot sauce. It's kind of insanity. I know a friend that went to America on holiday. Well, yeah, it was on holiday, and he bought an Apple computer, like a laptop, like a MacBook or something. So he bought it because it was the same price in dollars that was in pounds, and like the pound's stronger than the dollar, so he saved like 20 or 30% on the currency conversion, and then he just threw away the box. So when he took it home, he didn't have to pay the import tax. So just flying to America, do you know what? It might actually, like, if I found a cheap flight to New York, flew to New York, went to the Apple store, bought a laptop, got on the flight home, that could actually possibly be cheaper than just buying the Mac here in the Apple store. That's how stupid our taxes are in the UK. Or that's how high the taxes are for importing something from America. It's super dumb. Mullen says, how many Death Company and Sanguinary Guard models do I own? I think I own maybe like 50 Death Company. I don't really know why I've got that many. I've got lots and lots of different options. And I think I've probably got somewhere close to 30 Sanguinary Guard. I was up in like the 27s, 28s, and then I added a few more right before 10th edition. So I think I'd be surprised if it's not 30 Sanguinary Guard at this point, but it's very close to 30. I've never actually ran more than like 14 in a battle, because I don't like sort of one-dimensioning my forces and just going like all Sanguinary Guard. Some people like doing it. I never really did it. But yeah, I know I'm definitely close to 30 Sanguinary Guard. 30 is the number in the lore, I believe. So there should be no more than 30 Sanguinary Guard in the lore. So that was kind of my aim to have. If I wanted to run 30, I could, but I'm unlikely to do so. Flint says you use Repulsor, Executioner, Land Raider, Eradicators, and Heavy Intercessors as a fire support. That sounds pretty good. That's pretty similar to what I'm running. I like the Vindicator tanks, but I guess I don't have an Executioner. I guess if I had an Executioner and no Vindicator tanks, maybe I would be using the Executioner. I'm just using what tanks I have in my list, because I honestly don't own that many tanks, I guess. So if you don't own that many tanks, you just have to sort of make do with what you've got, right? Rizzo says I was watching Star Wars Theory. He's fed up with Disney and he had Mauler on. What's I don't know what Mauler is. Are Disney not just a little bit like they're a bit like Blizzard Entertainment? Like Disney are a pure money-making machine now. Like they don't really care about Star Wars, right? They don't. I mean, they do care that it makes them money, but do they care about the old fans and stuff like that? Probably not. Same as Blizzard Entertainment, like they don't really care about their old fans, they just care about making money off their new games, right? I mean, that's corporate stuff for you. It is what it is, right? Juan says buy some cheap magnets, like a nice strong plastic container tall enough to hold minis, fill it up with magnetic lining, cut to shape, glue magnets to underneath the bases. Oh yeah, that's another option. You can magnetize the bases, and then you can get like a plastic tray, or you could even get like a quality, I don't know if you call them quality street, but like a sweetie tin, like this sort of thing. If you got that and put on the floor of it, you put something metallic that you could then stick a magnet to the bottom of your mini. You could save. You can do money. That's the sort of foam that K&R sell. They sell foam like that, and then your mini would just sit inside, and they just sell it in a different case. And they sell all different manners of cut-out foam. You can tell them what you want, and they're all cut out for different. Like you say, you want foam that fits a tank. They'll sell you a bit that fits a tank. You get it in all different configurations. Marcus, I don't know if I said hello. Good evening. How are you? 3 Lancers or 2 Lancers and Executioner. I'd probably take the 2 Lancers and Executioner because I think Lancers are quite one-dimensional. Like they're great at killing tanks, but that's all they do, right? Whereas like the Executioner will be able to kill tanks plus a ton of infantry and stuff like that. So later in the game, I always talk about that. I always say like when the game thins out, like when you're in turn 4 or 5 and you only got a few units left, because that always happens. Is it better to have something that's more flexible, can do more things, probably, right? So question, I went and found a paint pot of McCrag Blue. Does anyone think that heavy intercessors should have blue helmets? Or am I wrong here? I really thought people would think that they needed to have blue helmets. Magnets and bacon sheets. That's how I've been doing it. Seems like there's I think if you I'm trying to think. Duncan Rhodes. If you don't know who Duncan Rhodes is, he's got a YouTube channel called Duncan Painting Academy. He's the guy that used to work from Games Workshop. I'm pretty sure he did a video on how to exactly magnetize your models into a tray for like very little money. Because like if you want to buy one of those K&R cases with lots of different foam configurations, you're probably going to be $100, right? Heavy intercessors are battle line. Don't even tell me they're don't say they're battle line now. Like what, they're going to change helmet colors next edition, Rez? Get out. Games Workshop making us change all our weapon options edition to edition. Now we're going to have to change Mini's helmet colors edition to edition? Nah. I don't like that. I'll never like once I get to a point where I'm pretty happy, I hit these suckers with a coat of varnish and then I never touch them again. What were heavy intercessors before? There were everyone's saying red. Okay, I was convinced that you guys were going to tell me they need to be blue. Alright. I'll keep them red then. It's fine, it's less work. What about in the lore? I mean, I assume they're battle line, but sometimes battle, like, technically assault intercessors are battle line, right? Because they are, they're OC2, right? And they're in the battle line section of the codex, right? But pretty much everybody gives assault intercessors yellow helmets, do they not? It's like double standards. You don't know what you're supposed to do for Blood Angels. It's discrimination. How come assault intercessors get yellow helmets? I like the yellow on them. I just did a squad of jump intercessors. And I mean, I'm nowhere near having them finished. But I painted their chainswords yellow because I'm going to give them hazard stripes, and I painted their helmets yellow because I guess they're going to have yellow helmets because they're sort of iconic for Blood Angels assault units to have yellow helmets. And I really like how the jump intercessors look with the yellow helmets. I think it's really dope. Assault interceptors are officially yellow helmets and incursors. Alright, so I did that right. But assault intercessors do have the battle line keyword. There you go. Sometimes I feel like I know nothing. But hey, tomorrow I've got a really good video coming out about the Vanguard detachment. If you guys haven't spent too much time doing research or thinking about the Vanguard detachment, then I've done all the research for you. And I got an interview with someone who's been playing the Vanguard detachment and winning games with it, which I think he definitely opened my eyes a bit. So there's like 15 minutes of me talking, and then there's like a 20-minute interview. Hopefully it's pretty good. I was going to say, I'm sure it's a good video that's coming out tomorrow. So check it out. It'll be out about, I was going to say noon UK time. Most of my videos coming out on Fridays come out about noon. Told you about Vanguard from the start, Terrence says. Well, yeah, I mean, everybody did, but I'm still very much Camp Gladius. Like, I'm taking Gladius to tournament. I want to do really well at the event. I don't care. Well, I was gonna say I don't care if I don't win the event. You know, in some ways that's a lie. I would like to do well. I'd like to. There we go. All right, my goal for this event is to finish top 5. That's what I want to do. So my first 10th edition GT, I want to finish top 5. Top 5 would be a win. Maybe last time at this event I won best sportsmanship, so maybe I can win that again. I don't know. But yeah, top 5 would be, that's going to be my goal. There's definitely going to be some tough players there, because I'm pretty sure Gav's going and Matthew's going, so that's like 2 insanely tough armies. It'll be Chaos Knights Gav's running, it'll be the Necrons Matthew are running, and those guys usually win all the GTs. Like if I was gonna say, those are the sort of guys that every GT I go to, they're local guys that always finish top 5. So they're both going. So it won't be easy to get top 5 based on that. But yeah, I don't know if you guys stayed to the end of the stream last night as well. Next summer, so summer 2024. I guess it'll probably be late May or early June. We're going to do like a Plastic Crackheads GT. So if you are anywhere near Scotland and want to come to GT organised by myself and Andrew, we'll probably get Brett and Kev to help out as well. We might get Colin, he's a bit of a liability, but so if anyone's going to be near Scotland next year, we're going to do a GT in the summer. I don't have any more details yet, except we want to do it, and we're gonna stream the fight. Excuse me. We're going to get whoever after the 4 rounds. Technically, in a GT for 32 players, there's 2 players that are 4-0, so 4 wins, 0 losses. We'll get that game onto the live stream as well. So planning on doing that next summer. Anyone in the UK will be welcome, obviously. -1 to hit and cover outside 12 is good. Yeah, do you know what I don't like about the Vanguard detachment? Is I don't like when something or some unit can basically counteract a army's detachment ability. And that's what I found out against playing like the Votan last night. Like everything in the Votan's list now has like 3 searchlights. Well, searchlights mean that they can ignore cover. So if you were playing the Vanguard detachment and you run into the Votan, you just kind of instantly lose half of your detachment ability, which I think is really rubbish. I think that detachment abilities should almost be like a level above regular rules that say, like, you know, all they would need to say is like, no other rule can counter this detachment rule. So like a good example last edition was like Blood Angels had +1 to wound, right? And for the most part, +1 to wound is a great ability. When you get +1 to wound, you do a lot more damage. Everyone's happy. It's a win-win. It's a cool ability, right? Until you play Transhuman, Nids, or Dark Angels or something, and their whole army negates your +1 to wound, and then you're playing Blood Angels, but you're handicapped because you don't have +1 to wound anywhere on the board. And I generally hated that. Like, I generally think as a rule of thumb that if there is a way Like, I just think detachment abilities, not just Space Marine ones, for anyone, like, I just don't think they should be countered by any random, like, hey, I put a searchlight on this buggy, so now your cover from your detachment ability is gone. You know, like, maybe I'm making it as a bigger deal than it was, but I just think that, like, your detachment ability is kind of your most important thing. It's how your whole army operates. So, you know, no one else, no other force or no other army or anything should be able to remove or negate your detachment ability. It's intrinsic to your force. It should be a level above. Yeah. I'm known for having my wrong opinions, but that's my opinion. Death Guard can counter photon tokens. Why? What can they do? They can... Oh, because they can make them -1 to hit and wound within contagion range, right? Or is it... Is it -1 to hit and wound, or is it just -1 to hit? I've only played that Death Guard attachment once. But yeah, I really don't think that armies should be able to negate other armies' like detachment abilities, because it kind of throws the balance of that game off a bit. Maybe it's not as big a deal as I think it is, but I just don't... I think, just generally, I don't like it. Like, I don't want to come up against somebody at a tournament and be like, haha, I'm going to have a huge advantage in this game because my detachment ability, or my ability, completely counters your detachment ability, right? It doesn't make sense. The armies are balanced to have detachment abilities. They shouldn't be able to be countered. This rule cannot be modified. Yeah, that's all we need to say, really, right? The -1 to hit range plus cover can really make some units garbage, but can also, some armies can just ignore it. Yeah, that's a problem. Like, yeah, armies being able to ignore other armies' detachment abilities. I don't think that's good. I just don't like it, I guess. I think it would, like you said, it would take 2 seconds for them to put in a rule, or write a rule that says detachment abilities cannot be ignored or negated under any circumstance. That's all it needs to say, right? I feel a little bit sad that the heavy intercessors are just going to have red helmets then. I was ready to paint them blue. I guess I can paint my Eradicators ones blue. Votann is stupid? I don't think Votann are that stupid. I think they're quite strong, but I don't think they're stupid. I actually really like their Terminators with the Volkites. And it's weird because their Terminators are really killy. Like, they do a lot of killing, and it's funny because Space Marine Terminators don't kill anything. So it's like Space Marine Terminators are survivable but don't kill anything, whereas the Votann Terminators aren't that survivable. But they do their fair share of killing. But I think I prefer them, honestly. Just because, like, I feel like a Terminator should be able to kill stuff. And the Marine ones just always seem to disappoint for me. I mean, they even drop Terminator's points, but I still don't think they're good at all. Like 185 points for 5 Terminators. I don't see it. Maybe at 150 I'd be interested, but or maybe there's a detachment ability that can make them better. But yeah, I was really underwhelmed. The times I've used Terminators this edition has been super underwhelming. Like, I really plan to not use them again. Black Templar is a vow that gives them a 4-up anti-psychic unit. Run into 1,000 Suns or Grey Knights and you've almost already won. I suppose the attachment abilities are maybe more complicated than I'm giving them credit for, yeah. Black Templars have always been strong though since they got those vows added. It just gives them a bit of flexibility at the start of the battle, which in some ways is quite nice. Maybe we need more of that. Maybe it's not less we need more. Terminator should cost 160 points at best. Well, I mean, the ones with Storm Shields and Lightning Claws I think are even worse, and they're more expensive. Their ability is a bit of a joke. It's like, if they finish a charge move, they can cause a battle shock. I'm like, wow. How often does battle shock actually come up in the combat phase? Like, very, very, very few people are playing strats on units in combat. I mean, I guess now and then it might get covered, but yeah. I don't mind Wotan, I just think their aesthetic is way off. They're dwarves in space, so make them dwarves in space. What's wrong with their aesthetic? Because they've got like the buggies and the little jeeps and stuff that sort of feel like they belong to tinkering type dwarves, no? What am I missing? What do you not like about the Wotan aesthetic? I mean, they've got very limited range at the moment, but that's because they only came out like a year ago, right? Was it a year? Was it last year Wotan came out, or was it the year before that? I've still not quite got the hang. Ever since COVID, I've not quite got like time scales down again. I can't remember exactly when things happened and stuff like that. Battle Shock is nice if activated when getting charged because your opponent won't have strats during your turn. Yeah, but it feels like people very rarely fail Battle Shock. Like, very, very rarely. Like, I know Dante causes a Battle Shock when he charges. I don't know if or when he activates, I think. I mean, I'd rather have the D3 mortal wounds from the chaplain. I feel like that's better than what Dante has, right? Sorry I'm late. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? I was going to say, they'll release another army. What armies did they... So Wotan definitely came out in 9th edition, right? And Gene Stealer Cults essentially came out in 9th edition, or they had the big range refresh type thing. So I guess, like, I'd be surprised if there's no new faction / race this edition, right? Or you guys think there won't be a new faction / race? Right now they're NASA dwarves. I mean, I guess they are kind of NASA dwarves. I guess I only remember the squats from like 2nd edition, and they were a bit of a joke, so I was actually kind of okay with how the Wotan look. I think they're sort of like modular style armor panels on the Hecatonk is actually very good. Like, I actually really like that. But I guess different people have different vibes. Normally they try and make dwarves Scottish. That's usually what happens for some reason. If you ever watch any movie or anything that has dwarves, they always try to give them a Scottish accent, and it's always a very fake / very bad Scottish accent. In fact, in one of those new Hobbit movies, they got Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, to be one of the dwarves. Slaanesh? Yeah, I guess. I mean, there are Slaanesh demons, but you think, like... more like a Slaanesh Chaos Marine type, like an actual range. I was going to say, considering when the Death Guard came out, they have a pretty decent range, right? Hello, sir. Good evening. Bearded Idiot says raid. Good evening, guys. How are you? We're just talking about what faction might come next in 10th edition. Is there going to be a new faction joining Warhammer 40,000 for 10th edition? I feel like the Votann need like 3 or 4 more units though. Like they're like, I played them again last night, and it's just like their lists feel very samey, right? Like they have to run like a couple of Hecatonks, they have to run like a few of the Sagateurs. You definitely need Hearthkin. You're definitely gonna have the bikes. It just, yeah, it seems like every Votann army that I've played, even going back into 9th edition, I guess there's just not enough units there for them to really have varied armies. So you kind of know what you're getting with a Votann. I mean, don't get me wrong, those Hecatonks are a bit of a nightmare to deal with. I really like their flat 4 damage on their main cannon. I really like how it converts to like D3 extra when you get the 4 up. Their void armor on the Hecatonk is very difficult to deal with as well. So, because it's like, so I was hitting it with las cannons, but he's ignoring 1 point from void armor. He's ignoring 1 point from cover. So it's like he's saving las cannons on 3s, which is pretty good. Emperor's Children, most likely. What do you think there will be? I'm not really sure. It seems like people would want to see Emperor's Children. Thank you so much for raiding. I do appreciate it, dude. I will endeavor to raid you back at some point. I don't get that many followers on Twitch, but if you ever hit me up on YouTube, much bigger on YouTube, I'm afraid. But yeah, much appreciated. I do a live game every Wednesday night on this channel, so we play like 40k live, and we don't take it too seriously, and we definitely don't make it PG-13. We're probably, usually my streams get demonetized within like the first 2 minutes, because apparently I cannot stream without swearing, which is funny because I've got a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and around them I don't swear at all, but apparently the second you put me in a room with Warhammer models, I start swearing. Hi, Primaris, how you doing? Emperor's Children is guaranteed at some point. Votann is only half an army for sure. Half Tau, half Space Wolf. Do you know what I haven't seen this edition actually? Is the Berserkers. Like last edition, everyone was running the Votann Berserkers because they had like, I think they had free fight on death. Was that what it was? And I guess maybe they lost the fight on death, or they have to pay CP now for fight on death. Why are people not running Berserkers in 10th edition? Because Berserkers were an absolute nightmare to deal with. I felt like for a Blood Angels player, right, where like typically you kill units in melee. So if you're killing those Berserkers in melee, you're going to get hit back by them, and they were super deadly. They had like concussion hammers and concussion gauntlets. But then, do you know what else I haven't seen much at all in 10th edition is Repentia. Always used to have huge problems with Repentia from Sisters of Battle. Last edition as well, like every Sisters list, it was like, oh, we got 3 squads of Repentia. The last few games against Sisters, didn't see Repentia at all, like, which is probably good, because I kind of felt when you were in Bloody Rose Repentia, they were kind of obnoxious, because it was just like so many attacks from those Eviscerators, and those Eviscerators had like 4 rerolls to hit. They might have even been able to play like a stratagem or something and get rerolls to wound, or maybe they just wounded on like 2s or 3s. Yeah, Repentia were like the bane of my life for like 6 months, maybe longer, maybe a year. I just don't see them much these days. Oh, thank God Repentia aren't a thing. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, Repentia were just disgusting. I went to a few tournaments where I played Sisters, and, like... I want to say most of the time I just lost. Sisters were like an anti-Blood Angels army. They had far too many tools. And then, when the Sisters Codex first came out, and they had the little squads of... was it the Dominions, where they could put those? There were some sort of fancy Stormbolters, where for like 80 points you had 5 guys with Stormbolters, but somehow I don't remember the name of the strat, but basically every time they fired, they did 6 mortal wounds. So it was like an 80-point unit that just has a guaranteed 6 mortals and then a bunch of saves on top of that. I was like, man, and that was it. That was 24 inches, I think, was just almost guaranteed 6 mortals. And that was early last edition. That was like, Sisters were like the 3rd codex. So the power creep started pretty early last edition, right? Oh, I just need to settle my daughter. She's just woke up. I'll be back in 2 secs. I felt like melee became so anemic. You mean in 10th edition melee became anemic? I think the rules for melee in 10th edition are just bad, man. What models do you think Blood Angels get in their codex, says Klein? It's a tough question. I mean, I kind of thought that, you know, the range refresh that Black Templars got, I kind of thought that, like, there might be a range refresh at some point for Blood Angels. I mean, that's been rumoured a bunch of times and not rumoured a bunch of times. So, I don't actually know if I don't believe it or do believe it, or... Yeah, the rules for a melee are just so difficult to get the most out of them. Like, the movement that you get after you, like, kill a unit is most of the time not useful, whereas, like, before it used to be really useful. So they made it, like, it's much harder to use any movement that you've got when you make a charge, and when you finish a charge, and when you do a consolidate. So it's just like all these the 3 things that melee used to be able to do really well got removed. Completely removed. And, like, it just doesn't feel like there's enough compensation in there, I guess. I don't know. I'd love to play more melee. I would love to play it. Obviously, I've got a lot of melee units sitting on shelves in boxes, not doing anything. But it's just like, how? I'll be interested to see what the next, like, because I guess we've got Codex Space Marines now, right? So we've got all the access to all the detachments, and it seems like Blood Angels are not getting an FAQ, because I guess if we were getting an FAQ, I feel like we would have probably had it by now. So potentially we're not getting a Blood Angels FAQ, even though we kind of need one, because there's problems with the Codex where, like, technically units can't join. Like, technically a chaplain cannot join the Death Company at the moment, right? So there's problems with the Codex, I guess. But it does seem like it's been long enough now that I feel like we're not getting an FAQ. Could be wrong. We could drop it tomorrow. What is there to refresh in the range? There's Death Company already. I mean, it would need to be Flying Death Company. It would probably need to be Flying Sanguinary Guard. I mean, we had 3 chapter-specific dreadnoughts. Do any of them get refreshed? We have a bunch of characters that were not Primaris. Do any of them get refreshed? I don't know what. You know, like, people ask me those sort of questions, and I was like, I don't know anything. Like, I don't have any secret contact at Games Workshop that tells me things. I know nothing. I'd love it for Games Workshop to reach out and talk to me. I believe a couple of years ago, you needed to hit like 10,000 subscribers for Games Workshop to talk to you. Now I believe you need to have 30,000. So, I mean, at the rate that I'm going, it'll take me like 20 years to get to 30,000 subscribers. So, unfortunately, I don't know anything. It's on my desk at work, Marius. Sorry, I'd been meaning to take it home. Do you know what? I had the car at the office the other day, but I forgot to take it. I always say that I have a head like a sieve. Or, sorry, I always say that, like, I would forget my head if it wasn't stuck on. I'm very forgetful. I use my watch to remind me about everything. I will check it out. I promise you. I will try and remember to take it home this weekend. Thank you so much for the $1.99. The thing they did with heirloom weapons is a travesty. Well, they changed it, Reziel. It's now called a Vanguard veteran weapon. It's no longer called an heirloom weapon. So, I don't know if that makes any difference to you. Probably not. At least it's got a different weapon, different name, I guess. Yeah, a lot of people had magnetized a lot of Vanguard veterans, right? I certainly had magnetized a lot of Vanguard veterans. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's super appreciated. I think we all have to... I was going to say, I think we all have to understand that a lot of the customization... I mean, if you just look at the lack of customization with the Primaris, and it's obvious... It's kind of obvious that Games Workshop want to... I don't know, they want to pull down some of the customization. They basically said it in their meta watch, right? They said they want units that are good at only one thing. Like, they don't want a unit that can do everything. And I guess if you go back in edition, the Sanguinary Guard could do everything. They could kill infantry, they could kill elites, they could kill vehicles. So that doesn't really work with modern 40k, where they want like rock, paper, scissors style units. I mean, Blood Angels need a unit that can kill... Blood Angels need a melee unit that can kill vehicles really effectively. I don't think they have them. Chain Fists are not good against vehicles. I mean, you could argue Centurions are good, but they're too damn slow. But yeah, they basically said in their meta watch that they want units that, you know, like rock, paper, scissors style units. And Blood Angels are a difficult one to drop into that. When are you putting out your list building video, John? Which list building video, sorry? Like my tournament list? The one about 10th edition list building discussion. Oh, right, the one that says, like, if I think fixed points are good or not. I don't know when I was planning on putting that out. I think I was actually planning on putting it out not this weekend, but next weekend when I'm at the tournament, because I won't be able to put out much other content when I'm at the event, right? So I probably like, if I'm playing 40k all weekend, I'm probably not going to have the energy to do a list building show on the Sunday night. So maybe that would be the night that I would put it out, so that there's still content that night, Rez. Am I sure I'm not a son of Ferris? I mean, I go through a lot of pots of red paint. I actually don't think I own any Oh, I have one paint called the Fang. I was gonna say I don't think I have any paint that would work for that. But I guess I've got a paint pot or a tub of the Fang. No, I'm not. Why would Vanguard veterans' power weapons be worse? I mean, I guess they wouldn't be worse. It makes no sense, yes. It makes about the same amount of sense as a Sanguinary priest not being able to join the Sanguinary Guard. Because if you really want to talk about sense, that probably makes the least sense out of everything in our 10th edition rule set, right? But yeah, I hope that they think long and hard about the detachment ability for Blood Angels before they release the Blood Angels Codex. I think that might be the only saving grace. Like, if we were one of the first armies to get our Codex, then our Codex would probably be +1 strength, +1 attack. And honestly, I think that's hot garbage. I think the +1 strength is so garbage in so many situations. It's not like +1 strength in the Firestorm, because the Firestorm weapons, a bunch of the weapons you're going to be using are already really good strength, right? Like in the Firestorm detachment, you're already using strength 12 last cannons, you're already using strength 9 meltas, you're already using strength 10 crack missiles or whatnot, so you already have like great strength. So adding +1 strength there I think is really, really good. Adding +1 strength to a Power Fist makes very little difference. You know, like if you were fighting, I don't know, like you're fighting Death Guard, +1 strength helps you nowhere. Doesn't make your wound rolls against vehicles any better, doesn't make your wound rolls against Plague Marines any better, doesn't make your wound rolls against Terminators any better, doesn't make your wound rolls against Mortarion any better. Like, +1 strength on Power Fists, is there a single unit in the Death Guard Codex that actually helps against? And that's what I was saying earlier. I don't like it when your detachment ability doesn't do anything or is countered. That might be a better way of looking at it for me. Like, if your detachment ability does not help you at all in the matchup that you're playing, then you're basically just saying, I'm playing vanilla Space Marines at that point anyway, because my detachment ability doesn't help me at all here. And I genuinely hate that. I genuinely hate the idea behind coming to the tabletop, having because your detachment ability is supposed to be like your strongest rule, right? It's like your strongest, iconicest rule that's supposed to define how you play. Oh well, in this matchup it just does nothing for you. Like, is that not just like a feel bad moment? Is that not just like a ugh? I'd argue it is. And I'd argue if that's the case, it should be fixed. But hey, I take the competitive side of the game probably too seriously. Probably. The big strength point you want to hit is either strength 10 or 13. No melee weapon can strength 10 with the +1. Well, you basically said it, Felix. There's your problem. Sons of Sanguinius most of the time is just +1 attack. Yeah, I honestly think the Sons of Sanguinius detachment would have been better if it had been +1 attack, +1 AP. You feel I take it relatively seriously? I take it as seriously as I can with the time that I have in my life, Rezio. I think you said you had 4 children. I don't know how you even have time to watch my streams, because I get to watch like 1 YouTube video a week. Yeah, no, I got 2 children, and like I work 45 hours a week, and then I work on this for probably like 15 hours a week, and with the 2 kids, then you know that's the time I have. I sleep the rest of the time. I know that I haven't been to many tournaments this year, but I honestly think it's because the kids are 4 years old and 1 year old. This is like the worst it's been for me. Because if we go back to like when I only had 1 kid, I was still going to like 4 events a year, maybe more, maybe like 5 or 6 events a year. And then since I had 2 kids, it probably dropped to like 2 events a year, and they're both having to be very local events. But just in this last little while, with the kids being like 2 years old, they call it the terrible twos, right? Like, our 2-year-old has crazy tantrums, but our 4-year-old is probably worse. So yeah, I know I think the last event I went to was in January, but hey, I won that event. I mean, so I did win an event this year, but the house is a wreck. Yeah, exactly. My wife is a wreck, man. Like, she has to deal with that. I get to go to work and not have to deal with them. But yeah, so my wife is a wreck because she has to deal with a 2-year-old and 4-year-old for like 50 hours a week without me. So I can't in good conscience just be like, I want to go to a tournament all weekend 3 or 4 times a year. Goodbye, good luck with the kids. So yes, that's... I would probably like to go to a few more events. I just can't at the moment. I'm looking forward to getting to more, but I get it. Daniel says +1 attack, 1 ATP would have been something. You got +1 access to +1 to wound anyway. Yeah, I honestly think 1 AP would have been better because it's really silly. The only way you can get more AP, because you can get more AP in the Gladius attachment, Daniel, right? Rosario's got 4 kids. He's watching for work. Well, I mean, that's the way to do it, I guess. Marius says I've got empty nest syndrome. I mean, it's funny that you're... No, that's my 2-year-old shouting. It's funny that you're never happy with what you've got, right? Like, you're always like looking at other people. Like, I'm looking at you, Marius, going, God damn it, like, I remember what it was like when I had lots of time and I could finish a new Warhammer model every week and stuff. And then you'll be looking at me going like, God damn it, I wish I had a couple of kids. You know, like, you always... The grass is always greener, man. It's the way of the world. But yeah, the only way to get additional AP in the Blood Angels attachment is from a Sangre Priest, and guess what? He can't join the 2 units you'd want the extra AP on, right? Like, he cannot join Death Company, he cannot join Sangre Guard. So arguably then, the only way you get additional AP is by being the Gladius detachment and using Honor the Chapter, which gives you Lance and 1 point of AP. So yeah, I think that I honestly think that the Blood Angels attachment was half-baked. Like, it would have been better with more AP. Or it would have been better if the Sangre Priest, who gives AP, could actually join something useful. It's okay. It only lasts till they phone up looking for money. Yeah. That's what family's all about, right? Needing, wanting, looking for money. Money makes the world go round. Much appreciated on the super chat. Marius is actually going to start a Blood Angels army. I think he has been watching this stream long enough now, where somehow through the ether we've managed to like corrupt them. And as much as he loves his Ultramarines, he's ready to start Blood Angels. Do you know what, Marius? You tell me your address in Discord, and I will send you a Blood Angels model to get you started. How about that? There's a deal for you. And we can convert someone. We can. No one wants to be Ultramarines anyway. Come on. Come on. Space Marines look better in red, black, and gold. You know it. You know it. You just don't want to admit it yet, but one day. +1 would be nice. It felt really bad into transhuman. Yeah. I mean, less transhuman in the meta is a good thing, though. Because there was so much transhuman last edition. Alunda! Sons of Sanguinius detachment rule should be Black Rage. Every time a unit fails a battle shock test, they get -1 AP and +1 damage on melee weapons until the end of the battle. I love the idea, man. They would just need to make battle shock actually meaningful / more failable, and then I love it. That could be a great you know, when we get all our detachments in the Space Marine book, that's the most thematic detachment I've seen. That's a great idea. But like the whole army can get Black Rage, not just Death Company, like everybody, every time they fail battle shock. Maybe there needs to be a strat that's like... How about this? There's a stratagem that says you gain 1 CP, but you fail your battle shock test. Thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate it, dude.
Alonda, Lorenzo donated €5 via Super Chat. So's detachment rule should be Black Rage. Every time units fail a battle shock test, they get -1 AP, plus 1 DMG on melee weapons until the end of the battle.
That would be so cool. No, I love it. That's a great idea. I love it. I doubt we'll get it, but I love it. Sleepy, thank you so much for the gifted, man. Oh, all the super chats are coming in now. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I was going to say something about that detachment, actually. I think that the sword brethren for Black Templars, they can get 3 damage on their swords, can't they? And I think that's what makes them really strong. That's something that's kind of a big change as well, right? Because Blood Angels used to rely pretty heavily on Thunderhammers. Like, the 3 damage of Thunderhammers was kind of our core way of dealing with certain things, like demons or certain vehicles and stuff. And losing that 1 damage off the Thunderhammer, I guess, hurts in a way. I don't know. I've pretty much dropped Thunderhammers completely. But we were talking about this the other night as well. I think Chain Fists are in a bad place as well. I think Chain Fists, regardless of Sons of Sanguinius, I think Chain Fists need more AP on them. I don't think they're good enough at just 2 AP. My bot must be lagging. The super chat's taking ages to come through. The gifted sub's taking ages to come through as well. But thank you so much for the gifted sub, Sleepy. I appreciate it. Make sure if you got the gifted sub, make sure your YouTube account is linked in your Discord, and you can join us in the members only room on Discord. I try and speak in the members room most days, I guess. I think I'm in there most days. Right, these guys are making some progress. We got the guns painted at least. That's something. Or at least 1 coat of paint onto the guns. 3 damage and 3 wounds on the Sword Brethren. Yeah, pretty cool, right? How do you deliver the Sword Brethren? Do you guys put them in a Land Raider or something? Because Black Templars get to put extra multi-meltas and stuff on the Land Raider. I guess multi-meltas on the Land Raiders are not as good as they were last edition, but it's still good, right? It's free now, I guess. Chain Fists need to be AP4, says Highland Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, they should still be really high AP. That's the point of taking Chain Fists. You get less attacks. No, you get the same amount of attacks, but you only hit on 4s. So you take a hit on your weapon skill. I don't really know why you take a hit on your weapon skill. I don't really feel like they needed to take the hit on their weapon skill, but they take the hit on the weapon skill to get anti-vehicle 3 up. But yeah, Mike's. So I've used Terminators I think 3 times this edition, and every single time I've actually used them on vehicles. Because that's why they're there on the battlefield. I'm thinking, oh, Chain Fist, anti-vehicle 3 up, this will be really useful. And every single time it's been terrible. Like, it's been to the point where just I used them and then I was like, okay, I'm taking the Terminators out of my list. They're not good. And then maybe not 6 months later, 3 months later, I put Terminators on my list because I'm like, Chain Fist with anti-vehicle 3 up and Oath of Moment buffs, they must be pretty useful. Use them again. No, they're absolutely garbage. Pull them out of the list. And I think I've done that 3 times now. I like Assault Centurions. I actually kind of like Devastator Centurions, but I don't own any Devastator Centurions. I think Devastator Centurions have got a little bit more interesting than they potentially were before, right? Does anyone run Devastator Centurions? Anyone like them? Helbreck, Lieutenant leading the Sword Brethren in a Land Raider and a Redeemer. Can Helbreck and all the Sword Brethren can fit in a Redeemer? Huh? What does Helbreck's ability do this edition? I honestly don't think I've read it actually. Which is funny because Helbreck's one of... I only have 2 characters that are not Blood Angels, and Helbreck's one of them. Devastator Centurions are better than the Assault ones. The thing I like about the Devastator Centurions is because I actually thought about them in the Vanguard attachment, right? Because most of the time they're going to be more than 12 inches away, so you can use that stratagem on them to give them +1 to hit and an extra point of AP. So if you arm them with like las cannons, then you'll have twin-linked las cannons hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s because I guess their data sheet ability is re-roll 1s to hit, right? I think it might be against specific unit types, but I guess that would make your las cannons -4 re-roll 1s to hit, hitting on 2s. +1 strength and 5 score critical hits. Okay, Helbreck is incredible then, wow. Just, while Helbreck may be incredible, melee in general this edition is not that incredible. Because once you start doing melee, you find yourself in awkward positions and you don't have the movement, and... I was trying to put my finger on the thing that, like, which change on its own caused the biggest problem for melee units, but I think it's just a combination of all the changes, right? Like having to finish within base contact, not getting to use your pile-in effectively, not getting to use your consolidate effectively. It's just too many negative things all rolled together, I think, has made it very, very difficult to be a proficient melee player or army in the new edition. I hope they'll fix it. I hope they'll do some sort of sweeping change to it. I just don't know if they're gonna. And if they are gonna, at what point are they gonna? Because if you think about last edition, tanks made no sense. No one ran tanks whatsoever. Well, now everybody's buying tanks. Everyone wants to use tanks. I actually think transport play is really strong this edition. Like last night, Andrew had way more models left at the end of the game than me. I mean, I beat him by like 20 points, but because he had everything hidden in transports, toughness 10, 9 wound transports, it's hard to get into them, right? Like if you've got 5, 6 transports plus, so he had 6 transports plus 2 land raiders, essentially 2 hecatonks. I mean, that's a lot of armor to take down. If, like, yeah, it's just a lot, man. I don't know if I feel Sagatars are maybe a little bit too cheap at 100 points. They could probably go up to at least 10 points, right? World Eaters and Chaos Space Marines are doing well into melee. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think they're the 2 factions that are really, really strong in melee. Lord Advocado is amazing for World Eaters, I think, still. I think Angron as well is pretty great. The fact that you can revive him is just insanity. Like, you can go from, hey, I've lost this game, to, oh, I'm going to win this game because Angron has revived because I rolled 3 6s. It's like... Yes, there's a bit of randomness in there, I guess. Vehicle toughness going up killed any melee. Well, yeah, all the vehicle toughness went up, like, you know, like a Land Raider was Was Land Raider T9 before? No, T8, T9? So like a lot of vehicles went up like multiple points of toughness, but none of the melee weapons changed at all. And I think that's what hurt, right? Like it might have been okay if, like, you know, vehicles only went up like 1 or 2 points of toughness, but like a lot of them went up quite a bit. Because I think like a Vindicator tank used to be T8 and now it's T11. It's quite a big jump. It's like a 30% jump in toughness. but all the melee weapons didn't get changed at all. Wolfgar says, got my first tournament since 1998 this weekend. 25 years is 1,000 points. You got to start somewhere. Good luck, man. 25 years since your last event. Man, that's going to be nerve-wracking. Like, for me, if it's 25 weeks from my last event, I'm like, fuck, I've not played an event in a while. You're going like, holy crap, you were a different person 25 years ago, man. Jeez. Good luck, good luck, good luck. 25 years, that's some serious... Good to get back into it, though, after that long, for sure. Melee went down in AP. Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, well, they got no more points in strength. They also went down in AP. Power Fists went down 1. I guess Thunderhammers lost a point of damage. Chain Fists went down like 4. All the melee on the Dreadnoughts went down a lot as well. If you remember, all the Redemptor Dreadnoughts used to be D3 plus 3 on their melee. Now they're just flat 3. So they basically lost potentially half their damage. On average, I guess they lost 50% damage. UK Cubbing says, I'm in a slow growth tournament at the moment and I've been I guess you mean tabled in turn 2 3 times in a row now. First was against Darklance Spam Eldar, and second was against Infantry Guard. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, that's tough, man, when you're getting tabled in a couple of turns.
Alonda, Lorenzo donated €5 via Super Chat. Any tip for converting JP Intercessors into Bang? Vet sword plus shield? Swords seem all on left H, so need right hand shields. WJP Captain, 40...
Any tips for converting jump intercessors into Vanguard veterans, sword and shields? Swords are all in the left hand, so need right-handed shields. So you're going to do the big 10-man blob of Vanguard veterans. I bought my shields from Cromlech, and those shields are arm agnostic, as in you can stick them onto either arm. I can show you the shields I've got. Swords are going to be more problematic because, like you said, they're on the wrong hands potentially. There is one neat trick you can do, and I'll answer your question in a second, Cubing. Just let me answer the super chat. What I've done before is, it's kind of, it's time consuming, but you can do it without having to spend too much money or without having to worry too much, is if you've got like any Primaris arms that hold bolt guns or bolt pistols, I think bolt pistols might be the best one. You can kind of snip off the bolt pistol. So basically what you're left with is a Primaris arm with a handle in his hand, like sticking out. And then if you cleanly snip the sword, any sword I guess, Space Marine swords, whatever, right there underneath, like it wouldn't be the hilt, at the top of the hilt, you can move them from one hand to the other, basically, like that. I've done, I mean, I don't have that many lying around, but are you trying to take these to GW tournaments, I guess, is the question. Because if you're taking them to GW tournaments, that might be the tricky thing, right? Yeah, like I couldn't take my Vanguard veterans to GW tournaments because they don't have official GW. They don't have official GW. Like shields. It's like the third-party shields that I just bought, but it gets very expensive. Like, see, if you go to eBay and start looking for shields and stuff, people will be charging like $2-3 a shield, but the problem is you'll You'll need to pay postage on every shield. So, I mean, the best kit to buy would be the Firstborn Vanguard Veterans. I think the Firstborn Vanguard Veteran kit has 5 Storm Shields in it. But then, I mean, I guess at this point you don't really want to be, you don't really want to be buying Firstborn models, because we kind of all know the writing on the wall is that the Firstborn aren't going to be around for too much longer, right? Excuse me. Riziel says join the Discord. There's lots of people that help with kit bashing and stuff like that. I mean, that's a cool idea. I didn't realize you weren't in the Discord, dude. You should totally join it if you're not. If you do join Discord, if you want me to send you the link to the shields that I bought, I can send you the link. But like I said, they're not official shields. You wouldn't be able to use them at Games Workshop tournaments. I guess that might determine whether you care about it or not, right? But the Vanguard Veteran shields you can get on the third-party sites look really good, and they fit. I'll get one out in just 1 second and I'll show you it. Let me just see if there's any final little touch-ups of red. I always end up touching up models when I'm not finished, but I guess that's just me. Well, it's because I always end up playing with them when they're like battle ready, I guess. I hope they have the heavy intercessor. Yeah, so sorry, Cuban's question then. I was gonna say possibly the best thing you should do. I was gonna say, do I have a video on it? I'm sure I've made a video on deployment before. Like I'll get you a video cubing of like the tournaments that I went to in I'll get it in just a sec, and then I'll show you this Vanguard as well, and then I'm gonna head off for the night because it's like coming up to 11 o'clock and I gotta be up for like 6 for work. But yeah, my learning to deploy is like an art in its own. But then I suppose it depends on like what units. Like if you're running like a really infantry heavy list at the moment, you're gonna have a really tough time. 4 wound marines, toughness 4 marines with 2 wounds die way too bloody fast in the current meta. That's why I'm trying to think of my list. I think I only run 1 squad of toughness 4 marines with 2 wounds. Like, I just don't rate them at all at the moment. They die so friggin' fast. Let me 1 second. Let me show you this Vanguard vet, and let me see what you think. Let me take this out because I'm pretty much done for painting. So these are the third-party shields. And like I said, they're probably going to be pretty ugly underneath. In terms of like, because I've probably done the same thing there. You can probably actually see that. That's probably an arm that previously had a gun attached to it. So it's like holding a handle of a gun. And what these shields come with is like 2 little dinks. So it would like, the hand would be here, the shield would be there, and on top and bottom of the shield there's just like 2 little tabs, so you can glue any hand into that shield. So these shields go on either arm. You can see this here. Look, I got them on right arms and left arms. And again, yeah, you can see this hand in here. This is literally a hand that would have held the bolter. I just snipped off the bolter and glued, like just super glued the hell out of that shield. But like honestly, when they're on the tabletop or when they're down here, you wouldn't really notice that. And yeah, I mean, I guess if you're happy to do that with the sword, you could do the same thing, right? Where you could chop the sword off above. I've definitely done that on Sangre Guard models. It's a gun shield. Yeah, but I mean, like when they're there on the tabletop, right? Is it like, even if they're like this, even if I pull it in, you know, like would you know? I mean, you'd only know that that's there if I really told you, or you really look at the model closely. Like I'm fine with how these guys look, and I think the shields fit pretty aesthetically. So these are Cromlech, Kromlech, Lech. I think it's a German site, but they sell them on Element Games, so you can buy them there. I can show you my desktop. Hold on. Does all look a bit weird because I have the chat on my desktop. Oh, so you might see the chat twice. Just use a guest account. So like Cromlech, Krom, Cromlech. I think they've been bought by Bits of War. I haven't bought anything since they became Bits of War, but I bet you if you search Shield. Yeah, these are the ones that I bought. So 5 of these for 10. I think this is euros. This isn't pounds. And I needed 20 of these. So I wasn't really willing to buy 4 boxes of Vanguard Veterans, which would have been well over 100. And I know that they sell these on eBay as well. If you put that into eBay, you might be able to get them cheaper in like combined postage or something. Yeah, there they are for like $7.79, and I guess the guy has 3 available, so you could get like 15 of them for like 20 something. 22, 23. Good night, Eternal Crusader. Yeah, so I like those Cromlech shields. I think they're pretty great. I use them on all 20 of my Vanguard Veterans. I may even have... I think I was doing 25 Vanguard Veterans at one point. God, what a waste of my time, huh? They're gonna get legends. Yes, and then let me see, if I go to my channel, let me YouTube.com BA Commander. Yeah, whatever, YouTube. That's not my channel. This is it. I'm gonna find you a video. And it's gonna be an older video, but it's gonna still be relevant. My Blood Angels 5th place army. This might...
Greetings, brothers. Today I'm...
Oh, this Inception. Nope, not that one. See, like, I used to do these videos where I would analyze why I won games. Yeah, this is I guess, like, if you look at some of these tournament analysis videos, so like the list is not going to be super relevant, but if you watch these are broken down into like 20-minute videos. There's one of versus Admech, there's one against Tau. Tau would be a good one because Tau is super oppressive / shooting, and if you play against Tau you need to know how to deploy. And I think I had another one. I'm trying to think of the tournament that I played. think it was the team tournament, so it's probably January. That was my happy holiday video, so it's probably here. Yeah, look, tournament breakdown versus Space Wolves, tournament breakdown versus Dark Angels. This one, desperate stand against the Tau. This would be a good video to watch for like a game where like you would think on paper the Tau should win the game 100% of the time, but Blood Angels won, and Blood Angels hid all over the board and pulled shenanigans and stuff like that. So hopefully UK cubing. I'd watch any of those videos that I've made on like how I'm deploying, how I'm playing, how I'm positioning units. Now the lists won't be relevant anymore, but you would learn something probably from checking out those videos. How committed to WYSIWYG are you? Could you field your Vanguards now as the new jump pack assault intercessors? Do you know what? I probably could. How committed I am to WYSIWYG? Last edition I was pretty committed. I probably have been committed up until 10th edition, and then 10th edition Games Workshop just sort of, I don't want to say they shat on everything, but they made so many units that I'd been building and playing with rubbish because of weapon options. So now, in fact, the tournament I'm going to on Saturday, they just don't care anymore. Because loads of people made Death Company with chainswords. Death Company with chainswords now are rubbish. No one wants to run them with chainswords. Andonius watched that Tau game a few times for prep. I desperately missed the melee movement shenanigans. Yeah, I missed the melee movement shenanigans so much. I think in some ways it's kind of killed melee a little bit. Like, it just feels like the melee rules are so bad this edition compared to what they were last edition. And I think maybe they did need to improve some of the rules, but I think they've taken it one step too far. Like, you know, like just not being able to consolidate at all after you kill a unit is... Could they have made it you could consolidate less? Possibly. Could they have made it you could only consolidate on a 4-up? Possibly, or something. I don't know, but the loss of melee movement shenanigans has really, really hurt us. It has indeed. But yeah, so my plan anyway is I'm going to GT next weekend. Not this weekend coming. I'm probably just going to paint some more of these heavy intercessors this weekend coming. So I'll probably be live at some point painting some heavy intercessors, or painting something else in my list for this tournament that would appreciate a little bit more paint on it. But I plan to make some sort of tournament breakdown videos from the event I go to hopefully help some people learn. And it sounds like some people are struggling. So yeah. So maybe I can help out. I do know playing against Dark Eldar or Harlequins, some of those armies have a bit of obnoxious amount of like pre-game / turn 1 movement, and it can be very difficult to hide stuff. That is a thing. That's why I think transports are kind of good as well. But then even transports, Harlequins have Haywire, and Haywire's still a bit too powerful, maybe in my opinion. But yeah. I guess lots to talk about. New video coming out tomorrow, guys. As I mentioned earlier, I'll probably be live on Saturday again. We'll hang out, we'll do some painting. Sunday there should be an army show. There's no reason there shouldn't be. And then, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try and get a game against Gav this week to practice for the tournament. He's playing. I think he's taking Chaos Knights to the tournament. I don't think I've played Chaos Knights in 10th. So it would be really good to get a game against Gav, because I really don't want to end up playing Gav when I'm like 3-0 or something, and I haven't had a single game against Chaos Knights. That would be bad. But hey, I know there's a really strong Necron player going, and I haven't managed to get a game against Necrons yet in 10th edition either. So is what it is, I guess. We need a bit of luck in those games. I noticed from reading profiles is the glaring absence of 3 damage melee weapons. The only melee unit that's a 3 damage melee weapon now is Centurions for Blood Angels. Yes. indeed the filthy casuals. Guys, thanks so much for watching tonight. It's nice to see you all. Thanks for the super chats. Not seen those for a while. Gifted subs as well. Really appreciated. Have a great evening. Tomorrow, midday, so 13 hours from now, there's a kick-ass video coming out on the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I actually really enjoyed making this video tomorrow, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll see you in the comments tomorrow. I'll see you on Saturday night if you want to come and hang out. Have a great evening. Nice to see you all. Oh, last thing. If you didn't watch it, this. If there's one thing that you need to do right now, this is it. Right? Super important. Can't believe I didn't say it. Tony and Mark are going to shoot me. We just put out on the 3 Grots our tier list for the detachments, the 10th edition detachments. Right? If you've never watched the 3 Grots, you are missing out. We're the most not serious channel on YouTube.
3 Grots in a Box is intended for a mature audience.
But yeah, there's the link in chat. Check it out.
Be crude language and discussions of adult things.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Especially
we enjoyed
if
making
you're
this video
talking
quite a
about
lot.
tactical
So catch you guys later.
Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged. All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes. Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
Alright, good evening and welcome to 3 Grots in a Vox special.
Hello! Hi, Dr. Nick!
Today we are looking at the Space Marine detachments.
Sorry, we're not going to address the Dr. Nick thing.
This is from a very old episode of The Simpsons.
It was.